Muy bueno. All right, the broadcast is now live. Let me refresh it. Good. Awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's your coach Borino. Welcome to our broadcast. You're watching on the Listing University. Your coach Borino with you. And if you look at my face and you think, shit, Borino, you've gained 30 pounds, what the hell happened to you? I, I had a lazy dermatology procedure done on 3 days ago, I guess. And the doctor says, oh, no, don't worry about it. You'll be fine in a couple of days. No problem. No swelling. Look at me. Goddamn chipmunk. But I wanted to bring you this broadcast. I wanted to chat with you today because we're going to do something very different. You know what I normally teach you guys is how to do expireds, how to do for sale by owners, how to do kill a listing presentation, follow up on all that stuff. But what we were planning with my guests today and what we were working on over the last, it's been about 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, 2 months, is pretty unique and pretty different. I have never in my 20-some years of being in real estate done an interview like this one. It is not prepared. It is not scripted. Yes, I've talked to these guys before because we needed to set it up and prepare and make sure we have all the legalities out of the way, all the technicalities out of the way, because we will be talking about a lot of insider information about for sale by owners. But other than that, this will be just a chat, just a conversation, because I personally am very curious, because you're going to get the scoop now from behind the scenes. What's going on behind the curtains? Now, this is not a plug for anything. If you have my systems, if you have the Fizbo Reno, this fits in nicely because a lot of the insights and a lot of the psychology, a lot of the seller behavior that I want to talk to these guys today about will fit right in there. Feel free to ask questions. So here's how the question portion will work. We will stay for as long as you guys want, as long as this is interesting and helpful to you. Post questions right below the broadcast. There is a feed of your comments, Facebook comments, so I'm going to be refreshing it and checking it. If you have any questions, any comments, if you want me to ask anything specific, please go ahead. Just keep one thing in mind. This is a company that has competitors and also has to protect their clients' data. So not everything is public knowledge, although I'm going to push, you know me, I'm going to pry and see what I can get out of them. But understand that there may be certain things that they cannot disclose for obvious reasons. So other than that, it's an open forum. We're going to chat and find out something really cool, something helpful. My goal at the end is for you to walk with some practical tips and practical information that you can implement right away. Here we're headed for a weekend. This weekend you can really go out, get some FSBOs, get good leads, get good listings, have this to be your best and most profitable summer. Okay, so with that, let me introduce my two guests who are going to join us today. And for that, I'm going to need my glasses so that I don't push anything wrong and don't hop on you before we even get started. So please join me and welcome PJ and Don from Fizbo. Let me just enable their mics. Hold on a second. All right, gentlemen, would you be so kind? Can you unmute yourself? Can you do it on your end? There should be a bar on the top that will allow to turn on your audio feed. Yeah, there you go. PJ is on.
Good.
And Dawn is on. So first of all, let me say welcome and thank you. I know you guys are super busy. PJ, your official position at Fizbo is a Chief Operating Officer. Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
Awesome. Cool. Hey, thanks. Thanks very much for joining us. And Dawn, what do you do for Fizbo?
I'm the featured agent manager, so I work with all the agents that I'm basically the liaison between the home seller and the Fizbo featured agent.
Awesome. So let me make sure I understand what you guys do and what the company does, and of course the people that are watching this understand. Fizbo is a website that's primarily designed for sellers who want to try to sell on their own, for sale by owner, who come to you, who are looking for help to promote and hopefully sell their property. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We've sorry, are you getting me in there, Burrino?
We are. We are good. Yes.
Cool. Yeah, so Fizbo's actually been around since 2006. It was, originally set up as a for sale by owner website. We actually acquired the website in 2012 and totally revamped the model. Essentially, what it used to be was just a site where people would post listings for sale, and we took that and really revamp the entire model where now people come on our platform, and it really is just it's a good marketing platform for folks to get the word out about their home, where we put it on Fizbo.com, other real estate platforms, and then also provide them some guidance and tools along the way.
I know you can't give us the exact number, but what kind of volume of sellers do you get, like, let's say, per year? How many people come to you guys?
So it's a good question. We're really excited about what we're doing. I mean, so we've under our ownership, we bought it in 2012. We launched it. We relaunched it in 2013. So we've been really live for a little over 2 years, 2.5 years, and we've gotten 50,000 listings in that time frame. And it's month over month it's grown. So currently, and I'm comfortable, sharing that with you. I mean, so we get, about 3,000 listings a month on the platform, and of course, nationwide. Some markets have higher concentrations and more popularity than others, but we're a nationwide platform.
All right, so about 15,000 people come to you. Now, here's an interesting data, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about. Are they at the beginning of the selling process, meaning is Fizbo one of the first stops, or have they been on selling for a while? Where in the process of selling are they usually?
Yeah, good question. So obviously that's very meaningful data to us, so we collect that information as they create a listing. And what we find is that people are finding us very, very early in their home selling process. So we occasionally get the folks that have been trying to do it more old school. We really look at what we're doing as a little bit more of a revamped, for sale by owner 2.0. So there's definitely folks that still do it where they just put the yard sign in front of their house and they try to do it kind of grassroots, and then they reach out and kind of embrace the online platforms. However, the large majority of our users, they're very early in the process. They're just starting.
Gotcha. So within first few days when they're trying to sell, they come to you guys. What are the things that they're looking for on a site like Fizbo? What are the expectations? What do they expect to get out of it?
Buyers.
Buyers.
And they expect to sell their home.
Yeah.
So their hope is that somebody's going to come to the site, find their property, and buy it from them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but they definitely need help, though, right? I mean, there's definitely needs that they have. And
what are some of the things that they need? What are the first 2 or 3 things that they need in terms of getting their property sold?
It's a good question. I mean, so the very first need that we see that our users have is pricing their home, right? And I think a lot of the real estate community, understands that and knows that. Many of our for sale by owners, they list on our site, and you always hear that for sale by owners always think that their home's worth more than it actually is, and that's true. we actually really see that. I mean, people, they come on, they list their home, and they don't have probably realistic expectations for what they can sell for, and so part of what we do, and obviously it's the same thing that a real estate agent has to overcome, is you got to lower those expectations. I mean, they're not going to be successful selling on our platform. They're not going to be successful selling with the real estate agent unless they really know and are willing and able to embrace reality of what their home's worth. So that's the first thing, and that's an offering that we have on our platform is we help them with that so that they can get comfortable understanding what their home's worth. Second to that, it really is, I joke and say buyers, but it really is buyers. It's interesting, the large majority of our users, they're actually willing to pay a buyer's commission. And so that's really interesting. A lot of people, might think, hey, for sale by owners, this is a for sale by owner user, so they must hate agents, right? And there probably are a few that are like that, but the majority of our users, they're willing to pay a commission, and they specify that when they create their listing. And so it's really, hey, I'm okay paying a commission, so now how can I find buyers? How can I work with agents and let the agents know that my homes are for, my property's for sale, and they can bring me a buyer? How do I hold an open house? How do I market my home? Just questions like that. How can I find buyers?
Yeah. So this is important, guys, because this will give you a couple of really sweet insights that you can use. Number one concern that the for sale by owners have is price. So whether you're going to approach them through Fizbo, and later with PJ and Don, we're going to talk about how you can tap into this pool of leads that they have available. But whether you approach them through them or just generically market to Fizbos, keep that in mind. their number one concern, their number one interest is what's going on in terms of price, what's available, their competition, what's pending, where is the threshold of the prices that cause the property to sell, and what's recently sold, meaning what is the realistic expectation in terms of how much money they're going to put in their pocket. That's really important, because the more you talk about stuff that matters to them, the more you're going to reposition yourself from the average salesperson just chasing a listing to an advisor, a counselor who is helpful, which is basically the generic approach I always tell you works the best, no matter what the situation is. So that's the first takeaway. That's the first nugget, important one in terms of your communication and your marketing. The second one is keep in mind that the for sale by owner is willing, in most cases, work with an agent. So now you're not 6% away. It's not a 6% gap. It's in most markets, obviously. It's about 3% difference. Much easier to gap that difference. Are you getting it? Do you understand what I'm saying? They're already prepared to pay part of the commission. Now it's just a matter of explaining to them the benefit through the process, obviously, that they're much better off being represented by an agent, because at the end they have a very good chance of putting more money in their pocket and sell faster. Would you agree with that, PJ? Is that an accurate assessment of what's going on?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. So they come to you guys. Now here's an important information. How long before they realize that it's much tougher job than they previously had thought?
That's a good question. I mean, so we get a lot of good data around that, right? I mean, we have excellent customer service, so we're constantly talking with these folks through email campaigns or through just follow-up calls with these customers, and so we get good intellect on there about when they get frustrated. We try to get very, very smart as to those certain positions throughout the process where they need certain products and certain offerings to help them. So a bit of that information is confidential, just being totally honest with you, because we do have competitors and things like that. However, what I can say is, on average, it's about 4 weeks. Some it's sooner, some maybe it's a little bit later, but on average, it's about 30 days that these folks are, at a point where they're looking at other options. Other options where they're either paying us money or they're engaging with a real estate agent.
Get that, guys? Get that, guys? Listen. About 30 days into the process, these folks are looking for plan B. They're looking for another alternative. They're looking for another option. It takes about 30 days. It doesn't take too long. This is not a long-drawn process for months and months of trying on their own. These people are usually very motivated, very interested, because, as you heard, they come to FSBO at the beginning. So it's not like they've been trying for a few months. They come at the beginning, and within 30 days, they're exploring other options. So what other options do they usually have, PJ?
There's a number of options that are available to them. There's many sites that have, a flat fee MLS offering. We offer that, being totally transparent. They also have, these discount kind of brokers and realtors that are out there that can help them save money. There's full service real estate agents. Of course, at FSBO, one of the things we haven't really talked about, but one of the things that really sets us apart at FSBO is we've really embraced the real estate community. So there's many for sale by owner sites out there that are just focused on sellers. And we obviously we're focused on sellers as well. We want to help sellers, but part of that vision for us is every seller is different. They have different needs, and we want to be able to provide everything to every seller. And that, frankly, the majority, in most cases, the large majority of our users, they end up needing these services of a real estate professional. And so we've really embraced the real estate community. I'm sure we'll talk more about it, but we've created a featured agent program where we introduce our agents to our sellers. So as it relates to other options that are available, certainly us introducing one of our real estate agents to a FSBO is definitely one of those things that we are actively doing and having success with.
I want to talk about it more, because what I like about that approach, unlike many data aggregator, and there are plenty of good systems that will provide you with the leads, just like with Expireds. You have your LandVoice and RedX and Espresso and all these services that will add on FSBOs on it. There, you're just one of many agents competing for that for sale by owner. But if you have the opportunity to be positioned through FSBO, now you're not just another agent. Now you're positioned as an advisor, as a counselor, as an help who is not there to gun for the listing. Well, of course, you can help them and list the property and sell it at the end. That's the goal. But the route is much easier because you take a shortcut, and that shortcut has to do with positioning. And we're going to definitely talk with Don and PJ about it in just a moment. But here's what I'm interested about. You mentioned that even though you offer the flat fee MLS and some FSBOs take you up on it, many don't. And I'm curious, why do you think that is? I mean, if a FSBO wants to save commission, which is obviously logically the number one reason why they go FSBO in the first place, now they have the opportunity to just get the MLS benefit and still save money, and many don't go for it. What's your theory, or do you have any data why they choose not to?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We find a very small percentage of our users actually engage with flat fee MLS. One of the things that we've learned in talking with our customers is that they want to test the waters. They all feel like the internet, is obviously opening up all these doors. There's all these different industries that have been disrupted and have evolved because of technology, because of the internet. And our users, they understand that, and they think, hey, I know my home best. I can certainly find a buyer on my own. I want to be able to leverage technology. I want to be able to leverage the internet to get the word out. And they want to give it a good shot. But the reality is, it's tough selling a home, and there's a lot of things that they need to do in order to be successful. And getting your home on the internet is just a small little piece of that. And so what we find is that when people list their home, they get it out there, but they're not necessarily willing to kind of put in all the work that it takes to be able to be successful and to do all those steps. Certainly the flat fee MLS is an option available to them, and if a user really understood the power of it, that is something that could help them get on the MLS, right, and get good exposure. However, we see that a lot of people, they want to get their home out there, they want to get the word out, but then after that, they kind of take a step back and see what comes of it, and then they get to a point where, hey, I got it online. If I didn't have enough activity, I don't want to spend money on an MLS. I don't want to waste time with a discount broker. I'm just going to go with somebody that actually can do it. And I'm fed up. Let's just go with an agent that can get it done right. And so it's interesting. We didn't necessarily think that would be the case going into this model. However, we really are seeing that they're willing to get it out there to begin with, but then they reach a point where they say, hey, I haven't been able to do it on my own. I'm not going to mess with many of the steps in between. I'm just going to go straight to a real estate agent who's just going to get it done for me. Call it a day.
Oh, it's let's do it for free if I can, and if I can, then quickly find a solution that actually works.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like majority of the for sale by owners that end up on your site that do the either free service or the paid service you guys offer for them are pretty motivated. Like they're pretty serious about selling their properties. Is that accurate?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, there is a small percentage of people that are just kind of putting the feelers out. I think there always will be. That's a big part of for sale by owner is people testing the waters. But the large majority of the users on our site, they transact, whether it's through us for sale by owner or it's through a real estate agent.
They actually end up selling.
Yes.
Ah,
yes.
Okay. Now, tell me if, again, I don't want to get you guys in trouble, but can you tell me, out of all those FSBOs that come to you, how many end up listing with a real estate agent?
Yeah, so
Well,
the number may not
pull it out of them, guys. Watch.
So one of the things we're very, very proud of is, and you guys know all the industry numbers. I'm not sure what the latest NAR report has said, but last year I believe it's under 10% of people, according to NAR, that have sold their home for sale by owner. What we have found on our platform is about 30% of our users are successful. And so that is one thing that candidly we're very proud of, is that this is a service that is helping homeowners. However, we know and we recognize that the large majority of people end up engaging a real estate agent and end up giving up, and they aren't successful for one reason or another. And that population of the market is not really being served. It's kind of a free-for-all where there's all these people that try to do it on their own. The 70% that end up listing, that's fair game. Agents are hitting them up all the time, and the for sale by owners hate that, right? They hate trying to sell it on their own and getting call after call after call from agents saying, hey, you're stupid for going for sale by owner. You shouldn't do that. I can make you way more money. they get all those calls. But there isn't really a great model, at least until FSBO, for a nice way for the seller to feel like, hey, I'm on this platform who's tried to help me do it on my own. I'm at the point right now where I realize that I need help. Who can I work with? And being on one platform that they trust, that is helping guide them from doing it on their own to working with a real estate agent in a way that's not offensive, where it's very seamless. And so that's what we're doing right now. And so the answer to your question is 70% of our users end up listing with a real estate agent. Very high percentage.
That's a high percentage. So 2 important facts now, guys. Motivated sellers. You're dealing with people who want to sell, who are majority, are serious about selling. They are serious about listing as well, because they see pretty soon, within 30 days, that that solution does not work for them. 7 out of 10 FSBOs end up listing with an agent. Now, how do majority of these FSBOs find that agent? What is the usual process?
Yeah, through our platform?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Don actually, he owns this kind of piece of our platform. Don, would you like to talk about that one?
Sure. And everybody, we used to have a referral fee-based program, and it was like herding cats, so to speak. There'd be no exclusivity. There'd be several different agents. Our agents would be reaching out. I mean, home sellers would reach out to the agents, but what they did was not only had them competing against outside agents, they had them competing against each other to kind of drive down listing commissions. It wasn't good for our agents, and it really wasn't good for the home seller either. You know, it gave them too many options. It's like AMPM, too much good stuff, so to speak, right? And what we did was we kind of revamped our model, and late last year, we created this featured agent program. We'll go into it a little bit more in the near future here. But what we did was we made exclusive connections with home sellers and the agents. So throughout the whole process of our customer service department, which PJ mentioned earlier, it is exemplary and keeping the frustrations of the home sellers down, we also introduced them early on to a specific person that will be their advisor, be their consultant throughout the process. And so, again, yesterday alone, I had 2 people reach out to our customer service department and say, hey, can you connect me with 2 agents? We connected 2 agents to list properties yesterday, just on that alone. And that was.
I want to make sure this doesn't get lost, because this is really good stuff. So 2 for sale by owners actually reached out to your customer service, the FSBO customer service, saying,
yes,
find me an agent.
Right. Right. They said, we love your platform. We love everything about this whole experience so far. I want to speak to one of your agents. I could list somebody else, but everything's been good so far. I want to continue to work with you guys.
Understand that you guys watching this is really good. Don, sorry for the interruption, but I just want to make sure this really people get that. For sale by owners, many are actively looking for a good, helpful, professional agent. The myth that they don't want to talk to you, they don't need your help, they don't want to pay commission is nothing but a myth. It's nonsense. It's a fear-based behavior that many agents pick up because they heard, because they tried it once, because this and that. It's just an excuse. As you hear right now from folks who do this, who talk to, you heard what PJ was saying. They have active communication back and forth with these sellers every day. This is data. This is not just some opinions or secondhand information. They are looking for a good agent. If you can provide that service, if you know how to connect with them as a helpful, high-status, confident agent, not a needy, low-status salesperson, you have a great chance to harvest tons of good listings and work with pleasant, motivated people. True or false? What do you guys say?
True. Absolutely true.
Okay, so you have a service, and I want to get into just a second, where an agent can become a member of your platform and can have exclusive access. Now, here's the difference, and I want to make sure you guys get this. Using the data providers or just going on Craigslist, you will get some information about the for sale by owner. Sometimes it's accurate, sometimes it's not. But here's why I like FSBO, and this is why I wanted to chat with them, and this is why I wanted you to know about how you can get a shortcut, a kind of a backdoor in. What you will know is, number one, accurate contact information. You will know the history of that lead. You will know their background as much as you will need, and you will be repositioned differently. And we'll tell you how you can become part of it if you choose to. But regardless, even with what you just heard, you already can see the opportunity to go after these people and approach them from a different angle, be cool, be helpful, and lock them in as a listing. And it doesn't take months and months of work. You heard it. 7 out of 10 list within 30 days. So it's a great opportunity. So Don, what is the number one frustration that the agents have when it comes to dealing with the for sale by owners? What do you experience as the one that's like on the front line, so to speak?
Well, I think that the agents, many of the agents kind of, and these are some of the people you speak to because I've seen a couple of your webinars. I think when the home seller says, hey, I don't want to talk to an agent right now, they think, well, that's the gospel. Well, it's not. It's just, I don't want to talk to an agent right now, all right? So, you know what I mean? They need them, they understand, but they just got their feet wet on our site, and basically, I think it's just a front to protect them, you know? And what we try to do is we try to help the agents convert those connections, and we do it in several ways. Through our platform, it's an exclusive introduction. So that, you know, there's an email that goes out introducing home seller and the agent. The agent's in the body of the email, agent's in the CC'd in the email. On the dashboard of the home seller, every time the home seller opens up their dashboard, they see that featured agent. So that agent's there just a click away. And the agents that are embracing that and are able to convert that over to the home seller and say, hey, look, I'm your local Fizbo advisor. See, we got an email a couple of days ago. Wanted to reach out and see how things are going. How different is that call from every other call every other agent's making, right? It's tremendously different. So the home sellers, their guard is down. Oh, okay, you're part of the Fizbo experience. Everything so far about Fizbo has been awesome. Great. And then, you know, that's your way to get in the door. And then again, those numbers play out. 7 out of 10 are going to list with an agent, right? And even the ones that are successful selling the homes themselves, sometimes they need the help, at least through the closing. So there's other ways to make money as well, and still help somebody as a Fizbo advisor.
Find from an agent's perspective, what works for them? What is the best approach? How to communicate? What information or tools do they provide to the seller? What connects with the seller?
Yeah, I think
later on or initially.
Oh, sorry, Don.
No, I was going to say later on or initially in the connection. In the connection, we just try to make sure that we try to attach either the introductory email or the fact that they're on the dashboard, and that's just simple. And it really is simple. And I find that with all the agents that I work with, if they're able to master that, it's real simple. You just say, hey, did you get this email? If you didn't, I'm on the dashboard, just a click away. And I know it's simple, but it really just sets the table for the rest of the seller's experience and for the agent's experience too. Again, they have a reason to call. They're on the inside. Everybody else is on the outside. And then from there, it's just you go into a first-time for sale by owner. That would be your first question that you would ask the home seller. And I don't have the exact number, but I'd say almost 80% of the people that are on our site are first-time for sale by owners, which is incredible. And again, as PJ mentioned, over 70% of these people will exclusively list with an agent. So 7 out of 10 people you're going to meet are going to need the help of a listing agent. So from that standpoint, I just tell agents, go in with that in the back of your mind, you know, and just you're out there, you're there to help. You want to see how they're doing, how they enjoying the site, how they come up with that home value, how they come up with the price of their home. Nobody's going to tell you that they had it appraised last week. Otherwise, they're probably in contract negotiations. It's going to be anything from, hey, I bought the house 6 years ago when the housing market was terrible. I have to get this amount of money out. I can't bring any money to the closing table. To somebody did a home valuation about 3-4 months ago, and it's an easy segue for our agents to come in and say, you know what? Part of your Fizbo experience, you get a complimentary home valuation. I can come by and tell you what your home's worth in today's market because you want to sell, right? And you want to sell quickly. Absolutely, I do. When can I come over? It's just real simple like that.
Hey, Barino, one thing that I would just add to that is we kind of pride ourselves on being really good at understanding data and analyzing data. You know, it's very important to our business. And you know, candidly, we didn't start Fizbo and say, hey, Fizbo is going to be this lead provider to agents. But what we saw on the platform was we just saw the overwhelming numbers, and with our customer service, this you know, like you mentioned, you know, just yesterday the 2 people called us. 2 people called us in areas where we don't even have agents. Some of the things that Don's talking about, where what we're doing with our featured agent program, where we have, you know, exclusive banner ads, you know, when users log into their dashboard and those things, that makes it a very easy connection. But we're filling our coverage still. This agent program is only 6. You know, actually now it's about 9 months old. You know, we haven't been doing it that long, and so we're still filling these pockets, and we're still getting customers from all over telling us, hey, we want to work list with agents and trying to find good fits in each market. However, but But I just wanted to kind of hammer that home that we didn't create Fizbo to provide leads to agents, but we're seeing this demand, and so we've embraced it. We know that it's a need, and like I said, it's part of our vision in helping the home seller. Those that need that service, we want to be able to fill that service. I think agents, as you guys have been talking about, one of the missteps is that when they first engage the for sale by owner, and the for sale by owner says, hey, I'm not interested. I agree that it definitely it doesn't mean that they're not interested in talking to you. They're not interested in having the conversation about listing. But if our agents, and this is one of the things that we've developed with our program, if we've kind of integrated this aspect to it, is home sellers want to see value. They want to meet agents that are willing to provide them value, and that's really what it is. I mean, they want to save money, but the overwhelming kind of vibe is that they feel like real estate agents get paid too much money. Well, why do they feel like real estate agents get paid too much money? Because they don't see the value that a real estate agent brings to them. So what we see and what we hear from our sellers, because once again, we get that a lot of, why am I getting all these agent calls and what's going on? And so we talk to them, hey, what's frustrating about that? Why don't you like talking to these agents, early on in the process? Because we want to learn, we want to improve our program too. And they say,
so what do they say? What do they say when you ask why don't you like talking to agents?
Yeah, they all just say, because all they want is my money, all they want is my listing, but never do they have, well, from when we talk to them and when they're frustrated, we always hear the negative stuff, right? But they have very few interactions where agents come to them and say, hey, for sale by owner, I know you're trying to do it on your own, and if you can do it on your own, great. But here, let me help you. If you're going to try to do it on your own, let me at least help you do it on your own. Let me get with you, meet you at your home. Let me see what your home's worth. Let's make sure you're not leaving any money on the table, and make sure you're at least priced right. Or let me make sure that you're on the right platforms. I think what we've seen success with is we tell our agents is be confident in the value that you can provide, and be confident that, hey, if you know somebody can't be successful on their own, well then be their best friend, be their advocate, help them try to do it, and then you've earned their trust. You've earned a friendship with them, a loyalty with them, their respect, so that when it doesn't work out, and some of them will be successful, right? I mean, so 30% of them are successful. There's still 7 out of 10 of people that you're going to meet that are trying to sell in your area that will need your help. So let those 30% go, but the 70%, you've now solidified yourself as the trusted resource in their area, and they're definitely going to go with you. And so that's one of the things that we really try to encourage, and a misstep that we see with some agents, but we really kind of integrate into our program is we build this program to introduce the agent early on in the process and to build that trust and respect, because they're providing something of value to the sellers.
Now, interesting statistic for you guys watching this. NAR does the annual review profile of buyers and sellers where they analyze thousands and thousands of transactions. The number that Don was quoting earlier, by the way, how many transactions are with you, PJ? How many homes out of 100 transactions, about 8% are for sale by owner. That number has been declining steadily over the last 15 years. It started at 14%, now it's down to 8%. So less and less number of for sale by owners are successfully selling. That's the number one statistic. Half of those, here's an interesting fact, are sales to people that the for sale by owner already knows or is related to. That's either a very close friend or a relative. That means only half of that, which is about 4 to 5%, are sold to general public. So they have very hard time selling to public. That's the first important statistic. The second is 87% of the sellers interview 1 or 2 agents, talk to 1 or 2 agents before they select one to list their home with. That means you're not going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 other agents you're going to compete with. There's not a huge pool, huge competition. Just like PJ said, if you differentiate yourself from early on as somebody, hey, good for you, save some money, makes perfect sense. I would do the same if I could. I'm here to help. What can I do to help? What can I provide? One, you heard PJ offer them price advice. Bring a market update. Tell them what's going on in the neighborhood. You may not necessarily give them the exact price, but at least show them accurate information here, active listings, pendings, and solds. PJ, what other things find the sellers helpful? What do you encourage your agents to provide in addition to the price?
So the home valuation is obviously key. That's something that as soon as a seller lists their home, we offer that to them. And in areas where we have an agent, we send them an email and we say, hey, customer, thanks for listing on for sale by owner or on Fizbo.com. Here is your local Fizbo resource, which is an agent, and they're willing to help you with a free, CMA, a free home valuation. And so that's a great offering for our sellers. The second thing is actually bringing buyers, and so we always tell the agents, hey, don't schedule an appointment because you say you have a buyer and then meet the seller, and then you get there and then the seller asks you, well, who's your client, and then you're fumbling or you're making up, a lot.
Right.
Agents have buyers, you have clients, and so we always recommend all of our agents, hey, actually bring clients to the listing. I mean, that's what these sellers want. They want to see buyers, and it doesn't have to be the buyer that actually purchases the home, but just showing that you actually do have a buyer there's so much credibility in that. Another thing that we see that is having good traction is there's agents that are talking to our sellers and saying, hey, I'm willing to hold an open house for you. And that's something of a lot of value, because a lot of our for sale by owners, they love the idea of saving money. They love the idea of selling it on their own. But life gets in the way, right? I mean, there's a lot of work. There's reasons why there's full-time real estate agents, because there's a lot of work that goes into selling a home, and we recognize that, and we're transparent with that with our sellers. Part of our platform is helping manage the seller's expectations, because we want them to be realistic. It doesn't help anybody if they're not realistic. So there is work that goes into selling a home, and sometimes life gets in the way. These people have jobs, they have families, they have things that go on. And so they can't always field all the requests, the inquiries that come in about their home. Sometimes they get discouraged because they get a lot of kind of tire kickers. They can't always, dedicate a Saturday to showing a home because their kids have soccer and they don't want to miss those things. So we're seeing what's having traction is agents that are approaching our sellers saying, hey, Mr. Homeowner, home seller, I would be willing to, no listing, I don't need anything in writing from you. You do your thing. You continue to market your home. I support that. You want to sell by owner, go for it. But here's what I'll do. I have a great network. I have great marketing tools. I got a whole team that's dedicated to marketing, at my firm. Why don't I do this? I'm going to hold an open house. I'm going to get the word out to the entire real estate community that your home's for sale and that I'm holding this open house. I'm going to do it on Saturday and Sunday. You go have fun, go to your kids' games, do whatever you need to do. But let me field all those leads for you. And hey, I'm going to give you all the leads. I'll tell you everyone that came in the home, have at it. But what we're doing here is the agent is building, once again, a good relationship with the seller because you're providing something of value to them. Second to that, it also is working out good for the agents because the agents are meeting clients that are coming through the house. So it's kind of a dual benefit where the agent's getting all these leads. I mean, we know open houses are successful for real estate agents as far as lead generation. But they're meeting those people face to face. Meanwhile, the seller's just like, man, my idea of, or kind of how I viewed real estate agents has totally changed because this guy just did this without, this wasn't someone that was saying, give me 6% or, and I'm, give me your listing, give me 6%, and doesn't have buyers. This is someone saying, don't give me anything, and I'll bring buyers and I'll show you my value. And that's having tremendous success. So that's another good one. And then also we're seeing a lot of traction with the buyers or the sellers that are on our platform that are finding buyers on their own. Another big concern they have is they don't know what to do after that point. So the idea has been great. They've marketed their home, they've shared it on Facebook, they've done all these things, done all the right things, they've found a buyer, but then they still need help with paperwork and want to make sure that they're covered from a liability perspective. So in those scenarios, of course they can engage a real estate attorney, but we also recommend, hey, you might want to consult a local real estate professional just to make sure that they got your back, and we've made introductions that way as well. We don't get involved with what they charge or what a home seller has to pay for that service. We kind of leave it to the agents. But that's another value kind of add, and something you could definitely notify the sellers is, hey, do it on your own. If you find a buyer, I can help you with paperwork if you need that service. So anyway, just a few quick things that we're seeing having good traction.
That's really good. And the theme is the same. It's be cool, be helpful, be resourceful. Don't pressure for a listing, and it will come to you. And it will come much easier and faster than if you
Yeah.
use some aggressive tactics from 1985. Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, we see that agents are definitely, engaging and kind of deploying those tactics, and I'm sure some of them are successful. I'm sure some for sale by owners respond to that.
Yeah.
But
Now, here's the cool thing, like
numbers,
about the suggestion you said, do an open house for them. I think that's a win-win for everybody because you can
yeah,
pick up some good leads. The seller is happy. You impress the seller. If you don't have plenty of listings of your own, this is a good way to establish yourself in the neighborhood, get to meet some neighbors, maybe pick up a listing or two there, and spread the goodwill that will come back to you and pay you, whether through one transaction or you get a referral or you sell something else to the seller who's selling for sale by owner. There are many possibilities for you to be successful and prosper from that. Maybe from that or maybe another way, but it's the open mind and the mind of abundance that's important, where you don't just go after one little commission. I must get this sucker or I'm going to go broke. It's the generosity and knowing, oh, it's going to come. It's going to be all right. There's plenty.
Yeah, I mean, we all like to feel good, and we like people to tell us that we're smart and that we make good decisions. And so it's the same thing. These sellers, they don't want to hear that they're making a bad decision going by owner. If you're an agent that says, "Hey, congratulations," I totally understand. I try to do the same thing to save money, and you embrace that, you support that, and then you provide value in all these other ways, which you can because they need help. There's a tremendous opportunity.
That's awesome. You guys, if you have any questions for Don or PJ, please type them on the page. I'm going to refresh it now, see if we have anything. Don, meanwhile, I have a question for you. Having all these tools and resources and people working the for sale by owners, from your perspective, what is the biggest obstacle the agents hit, or what is the snag? Where do they usually get stuck, and what trouble do they usually run into, and how do they solve it?
You know what? I think many of the things we discussed to this point, I really believe, again, if our agents come in with a clear mind and confidence, and confidence in knowing that they can approach this customer with in an advisory kind of role, they'll be fine. But again, I think it's the mindset of the realtor that still has to change, many of them. So, I mean, I feel like I'm sometimes like a psychiatrist too, and I'll work with our agents too, and it's been kind of like a retraining of the mindset, because again, a lot of them, again, I don't want to talk to anybody right now. They're just telling you they don't want to talk about listing right now. That's all they're telling you. There's got to be a little bit of that, and once again, we're finding more and more agents that are embracing more and more of what we're embracing, what you embrace, and what your disciples embrace, and what PJ and I believe too. And again, PJ's right. We set up this company and this website for home sellers. We had no idea that it was going to morph into this great thing, introducing agents. But as it is, what kind of home seller site would we be if we didn't have that? I kind of liken it to a young couple going to Home Depot and they're doing a demo on their house, and they think they're going to just demo some drywall, right? And they go into the wall and they find lath and plaster, and they go, uh-oh, what do we do, right? And then they go back to Home Depot, talk to that contractor. So I try to talk to our agents and say, look, if you can kind of set yourself up that way, you will do really, really well. So my biggest challenge is taking the agents that think back from 1985 and kind of bring them to 2016 and try to. I can't tell you, Marino, how many times people say, oh, I get it, Don, this is awesome, and then 2 weeks later, they might even forget how to log in. You know what I mean? So it's. I know everybody's. Realtors have lives too. Life gets in the way. So, but more and more as we continue to gain traction in this whole model, more and more we're seeing positive. Less challenges as we move forward.
That's awesome. Good stuff, you guys. Hey, thanks for all the comments. I'm on the Listing University TuneUp Live website. Todd says, hi, Borino. Might not have access to the computer. Will this be posted for replay? Yes, it will. Matt Makowski, my good man Matt, out in Colorado. Hi there, Captain Borino. I'm ready to hear pearls of wisdom as always. Sherry says, super excited to hear this. Seems to be a lot more Fizbos out there since it's seller's market, ready to focus on them and hit them hard. Hoping to hear how I can set myself apart from many other realtors doing the same. Two things I can give you real quick, Sherry. As you've heard, you're not going to have a whole lot of competition. There are not that many realtors. that will do this consistently, number one. And number two, the general approach that will set you apart is, instead of gunning for the listing, come from the heart, from the willingness to be helpful, be cool, provide information, and be a little patient. It may not happen on the first meeting, but as you heard, if you give it 3-4 weeks, there's a very good chance you're going to lock in a lot of good listings. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Jerry Hicks says, I'm ready to learn some new stuff. I forgot most of what I have learned, only been doing it for 45 years. Well, Jerry, you're doing something right. If you managed to survive that long in real estate, good for you. I hope this has been helpful. And we're not done yet, but I'm just going through your questions and comments. How do I not sound, Jane Garber Locklear has a very good question. How do I not sound like I'm only contacting FSBO to list their house, when that is exactly why I'm contacting them? Thanks for taking my question. Jane, that's a really good question. I'm going to take a stab at it first, and I'll let Don and PJ chime in. But my recommendation is, let go of that need, I need to get that listing. Look at it as, here is a person who has a problem, the seller. And they're going about solving it in their own kind of a unique way. They're taking a crapshoot to see if they can save the money and do it on their own. So respect their decision. No need to point it out to them or argue or even come in being needy for the listing. First of all, get to know the people. See if there's, is that the person I want to work with? Is that a property I can sell? Can I help them in any way? And then go in more as an exploration, as a discovery of somebody new, a new story, new life, new person. Spend a few minutes talking to them. Really connect with them as a human being. And then see, what is it that I can do to help them? What is the best thing I can provide for them that will be helpful? That is the shortest way to get the listing at the end, if that's meant to be. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But the less you're attached to it, the less neediness and the desperation you bring in, more high status, more comfort, where you feel comfortable with what you do. You're passionate about what you do. You trust that there is plenty around you and plenty of people who need your help, the better off you will be. So drop that neediness immediately, because that's one of the biggest turnoffs that will push so much business and cool people away. You'll be surprised how quickly you can change and how quickly you're going to see good results if you just shift your mind to that state of, there are plenty of cool people who need my help, who want to talk to me, and who I can help. Anything you guys want to add to it?
Home sellers sniff that out right away, too. Right away. And we've got some really cool home sellers. They want to try it out, like PJ said, and if they can't get it done, like I said, it was really nice. We don't get 2 or 3 of those calls every day, but it was real nice yesterday to be able to get 2 people that we didn't have featured agents in the area. We had somebody nearby, and I knew they were good agents, and I was able to connect them, and they got the listings.
Awesome.
And yeah, it's just incredible.
That is great. So these people need help, they want help, they are open to it. A lot of it has to do on your approach, and through either whether you use my system, the Fizbo Reno system, whether you're going to sign up and go with Fizbo, which I encourage you to do, because these are very different quality leads you're going to be encountering. You notice that these people actually contact them to get them an agent. So this is not just a list of people who are for sale by owners. This is a lot more than that. We'll tell you in just a moment how you can come on board. Mike Cribbin, my good man Mike, wants to know if this is going to be on Listing University. Absolutely yes. Maria says, PJ is saying what Borino teach at Fizbo Reno. True, and that's why we joined forces. That's why I am now in a process of coaching Fizbo clients, Fizbo real estate clients, meaning agents, how to do a better job, how to get more listings, and help these folks using the principles that I teach you, which is you don't need to be aggressive, you don't need to be pushy. None of that is needed and necessary. On contrary, it actually will push business away if you're using the traditional sales approach. So yeah, it's very much aligned, and I very much believe in what Fizbo is doing, because they help the agents, they'll help the seller, everybody wins. This is a win-win situation for everybody. Property gets sold, seller gets to move, you earn a commission, buyer gets a nice new home, and the selling agent gets a commission as well. Everybody wins. There is no downside to it. All right.
Real quick, Borino.
Please.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, we really are on a mission right now to find great agents. And so that's actually one of the reasons why, we're a little sensitive to how much of this data gets out there, some of these numbers and some of the things that we're doing, because we feel like it is really unique. That's why I had a kind of a hard time agreeing to doing, a webinar, but you have your ways.
That was pretty persuasive, right?
But we really are on a mission to work with great agents, and the one thing that I really liked about you is that, and the whole concept is, you have the underlying platform that helps these agents be great, right? And all the training materials. So for us, it's just funny because a lot of people think, well, why are you working with agents, but then you're also helping for sale by owners? Working with agents is part of the puzzle. It's a crucial piece to helping sellers. These sellers have a need, and when we have a seller that says, I want a home valuation, and we get an agent that, doesn't know how to approach that, engagement, or doesn't know how to value a home very well, or isn't just a great agent, well, then the seller walks away feeling like FSBO didn't do their job. Or if we have a home seller that says, hey, I tried it on my own, I need an agent, and we don't have an agent to place them with, then we failed as a company. So we really are on a mission to be the one-stop shop for home sellers that will help them with all their needs. And working with agents is a huge piece of that. And working with great agents is so important, because we have had agents where we connect them and we make a connection, and all the agent does is send an email. Well, this is a relationship game. You really have to set yourself apart. Number one, at FSBO, we brand you as a extension of FSBO. You are a local FSBO representative. That's how we convey you to the home seller. So you're already set apart, different than all the other agents out there that are contacting them, because the seller's not viewing it as this person's talking to me because they want the listing. They view it as, oh, great, this is my local FSBO representative. This is part of my experience in trying to do it on my own. And so that agent, they're a branding of us, and we want to make sure that they're great and that they, build great relationships, and through that, they're going to have tremendous success.
And that's why I was so excited, because unlike if you go, like I said, to go on Craigslist, there are other ways you can get FSBOs. There you're just another agent. But if you team up with FSBO, if you become one of their featured agents, you're not just another salesman or saleswoman trying to get the listing. You're somebody who is there to help, who is an advisor, who is their guide through the process. So you're viewed very differently from the beginning. I like that a lot. Mark has a question for you guys. Mark Corner with Coldwell Banker. He says the FSBO website lists brokerages that they work with for their featured agent. Why is Coldwell Banker not listed?
That's a good question. We have plenty of, and Don, you could probably speak to that more. We have plenty of Coldwell Banker agents on our platform. It's hard putting all the brokerages there, and frankly, we actually probably need to update that landing page. But those were just some of the major first brokerages that logged on to our platform. However, I feel like we have a pretty good representation of all the major brokerages on the platform.
Okay, so FSBO does not discriminate in Coldwell Banker, okay?
No, not at all.
James,
we welcome all great agents.
There you go.
And that the definition of a great agent is somebody who's already doing a lot, or somebody who's willing to learn and do it the right way. To me, this would be a great opportunity, whether you're a seasoned agent who wants to ramp up and rake a lot of good listings quickly, which you can do, add a lot of good properties to your inventory, or if you're just starting out and you need somebody who is ready to list now. See, the difference between what I teach, which is work high probability leads, and work in standard methods of prospecting, is not that it won't get you results. You can do farming, and you can do door knocking and cold calling, and there are 40 ways you can generate seller leads. But working high probability leads like FSBOs, the difference is these people are already in the process, so you don't have a huge follow-up window. You don't have 50 other agents vying for that listing, which over a period of 2 years is tough to convert. Speaking from experience, I was a door knocker for a couple of years, and I did it a lot. So the reason I think this is a faster way to really get the inventory out, especially now in the summer, is because these people are all in the process. They're actively taking steps towards either getting the property on the market, or they're on the market getting it listed if it doesn't sell on their own, which will put you light years ahead of the cycle that you normally go through when you're working with standard type of leads. Does that make sense? So James has a question for you guys. This is a very timely call. I have noticed an upswing in FSBOs over the past week. I think 13 new FSBOs were advertised in the past 3 days. Awesome, James. That's a great opportunity. A lot of them will be listed soon. You watch. My question is, where do you draw the line of being helpful? If an agent is truly helpful, wouldn't that result in a higher probability of sales? So instead of 30% selling, maybe 70% will sell. So at what point is it not cost effective? I wouldn't want to work with for free to earn the type of reputation. James, trust me. The #1 source of buyers is the multiple listing. If the property is not a full listing in the MLS, the chances of selling on their own, look at the statistics, no matter how helpful you are. Here's the secret, James. You can provide the seller, and guys, you will probably have some more data on this. Even if you provide the FSBO, as I advise you in the Fizbo Reno system, with your marketing plan, step by step of everything you do to get the property sold, the seller actually having the time, the knowledge, the skill, and the resources to do that are almost zero. Just look at you're a full-time agent, you still fuck around and don't do everything I tell you to do, and you would be making thousands and thousands of dollars. Here are people who don't know how to do it, who don't have the time to do it, who don't have the inclination to do it. So don't worry about providing enough information for them to sell on their own. Will occasionally happen? Yeah, occasionally it will. But not because you're such a great advisor and help them to get the property sold on their own. Occasionally, if you do, great. Job well done. Maybe you earn a referral. Maybe you earn nothing. But it's the generosity that will expand and get you business. Here is why. Majority of those sellers will not sell on their own. And they will end up listing with an agent who was most helpful, cool with them, who was pleasant to deal with, who they like, who they trust, and who they respect. Now, what is the fastest way to earn that like, trust, and respect? By being cool, by being helpful, by supporting them, by providing information. You cannot overdo this. Trust me, you cannot overdo this, and it will not backfire. I understand where you're coming from. Let that go. Just like Don was saying a little while ago, this is a mind game. And if your mind is in the right place where you say, I'm just here to help, seriously, if I can help you, I will. I will get paid one way or another. That's the right place to come from. Does that make sense?
Yeah. One other thing I'd add there, Barino, is it's a good question, and it is a valid point. And we see that concern with a lot of agents is, I don't want to provide all this free value and then not get a listing. Of course, I need to get paid. I want the business. One of the things that's really exciting about working with sellers, and you all know this, but when you look at the other technology, online platforms that are out there, really all they're doing is capturing buyer leads. There aren't any real services, no services like what we're doing, but there's other data aggregators, but there aren't too many that focus really on sellers, and that's where we live with these sellers. And while you might be providing a lot of things that are free, the awesome thing about working with sellers is if they end up listing with you, they also need to buy something. And so many of our agents are having a lot of success in not only getting the listing, but they've won the trust. And so when that seller needs to buy a place, they're actually getting that commission too. So just wanted to put that plug in there, which we all know, but that is an added benefit. So yeah, you might be doing a lot of stuff for free, but when something does hit, it ends up being well worth the time and effort that you put into it. And there's so many relationships and people that you're meeting along the way, that even if they are successful, at least you've planted the seed that next time around they might reach out to you first, or they may have a neighbor that doesn't want to do it for sale by owner, but hey, they had this great experience with this awesome agent that provided all this value to them for free. Yeah, they didn't use them. Yeah, they didn't list with them, and that agent didn't get paid. But that agent left a lasting impression with them that now this for sale by owner is almost spreading the word and helping build that agent's business. Even though they did it on their own, because just because one for sale by owner did it on their own.
There's one more thing I wanted to add to that. A lot of these for sale by owners get 15, 20, 30 inquiries. A lot of these buyers are sellers. A lot of these clients are people who need to sell and buy at the same time. Guess what? If you've been cool and helpful with them, you can end up with a nice list of good qualified leads who are seriously looking to buy and maybe looking to sell and buy.
Absolutely.
Cool. A couple of questions. They're actually the same question. One is from my man Ken. Hey, Mr. Ken from Wycard Realtors. And also one more. Let's see. It's the same question. Where did I see it? Lisa. Ernesto Diaz with Keller Williams. They both want to know, what does it take for an agent to be on your preferred agent list in the area? And Ernesto says, how can we get to work with Fizbo as a preferred agent in our area and get leads from you guys?
We're going to go through that in just a few moments, right? Or no?
Might as well just answer that. Yeah.
Okay. Peach, you want it? Or?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it.
Okay.
So Don, and Don, you can add to whatever I don't cover, but Don is our agent affiliate manager. So that's one thing that we have with the program, and a resource that you have is you have a dedicated agent manager that will help you. So Don oversees all of that, and he does a lot of the onboarding with our agents that come on the platform. So certainly, right now, obviously, any agent can go on Fizbo.com. If you go to resources on our drop down, there's an option for agent sign up. And the way that we have this program set up is that we have an exclusive membership so that we only partner with one agent in every area. And we feel that we like it that way because we really do view our relationships with agents as a true partnership. We don't want to muddy the waters by having multiple agents. And then it's authentic to our sellers, because our sellers aren't feeling like I try to list by myself and now Fizbo's throwing all these different agents at me. You know, we like I said, we brand you as a Fizbo representative because we view it as a true partnership. So you can go on the platform right now. You could check your zip code availability. And you could register through the site. You know, our zip codes really range, anywhere from, $50 to kind of the small areas where we're not getting much leads, $50 a month, to over $100 a month. They get that high. We're actually doing an exclusive with Reno, and it really is. I mean, we like Reno, of course, but it really is. It's how optimistic we are with the quality of these agents, because, like I said, we've seen the tools that Reno provides, and they're perfect for being successful, having the right tools and being successful on our platform. So anyway, so we're doing this exclusive promotion where we're actually offering right now 5 zip codes to any agents that sign up that are Reno students. 5 zip codes for $100 a month. So while our zips are typically, like I said, $50 to over $100 for one zip code, we're doing 5 zip codes because we really want you to start off with a bang. Get good coverage. So we have a good reach. So we're doing that 5 zip codes for $100 per month. We're asking for a 3-month commitment because we want to make sure that you're invested. You won't necessarily get a listing, in the first week, and we don't want you to get discouraged and frustrated and cancel. We know the platform works, and we know you'll have success. So we are doing a 3-month commitment for that pricing, but that pricing is also going to be for your life with us. So for as long as you stay with us, we're going to honor that Reno exclusive promotion of 5 zip codes for $100 a month, 3-month commitment. And Reno, I think we gave you the URL for that, but it'll just be fizbo.com. So this will be a lot easier. If you go to fizbo.com/Borino, you'll be taken to that page. And we're not asking for a credit card. We're not asking for anything. We actually want to talk with each one of you prior to coming on board. So all it is, actually, just so you're aware, no commitment right now, nothing that we need from you that's binding. All we want you to do is go onto that platform, give us your first name, last name, phone number, and email address. That's all we're asking for, those 4 things. Press the button, and then that will give us your information, and then we will reach out to you, and we want to talk to you. We want to find out what zip codes you're in, make sure that they're available, because we have exclusive zip codes. Some of them might not be. So make sure your zip codes are available. We want to talk with you and make sure you really understand all the details of the program and you're a good fit. It's got to be a good fit on both ends. And then assuming we have zip codes available for you, it's a good fit. At that point, we'll ask for your credit card information. We'll get it there. So, but feel free to go to that URL, fizbo.com/Borino. Just enter your information there, and then you'll solidify and kind of lock down that pricing, so we know that you're a Borino student. And then we'll reach out to you on getting you on board.
That's awesome. So now let me just kind of pre-frame the expectations. This is not Craigslist, and this is not Espresso or RedX or Landvoice or any of these services. This is different. You will not get hundreds of leads that you're going to sift through and then they're going to magically line up in front of your office. It does require some work, obviously. But if you're willing to put in the work, you're working with quality leads, you have a lot of background data, you have a lot of accurate contact information, and you have a support of the site. So you have that repositioning we were talking about. That's why I was so excited when Fizbo and I were talking about this a couple months ago that we're going to set this up. Now, I'm going to throw in something just kind of because I think it would help you. If you guys are my clients, if you have my systems, then you know it's a nice fit because it's based on the same premise of building trust and connection with these people. I'm going to throw in, if you don't have it, the Fizbo Reno system, you're going to get $100 off. So for everybody who signs up with Fizbo today or fills out that form today and you don't have my Fizbo Reno system, I think that would help you. I think it nicely matches. We will work out the details, and I'll take $100 off. It's normally, how much does it cost? It's like $400, so I'll take $100 off that. So for $300, you can have the system if you want it, and if you don't have it yet. because I think it has a lot of good tools that will kind of work nicely with it. Awesome, cool. So go to fizbo.com/Borino and check that out. There are a couple more questions. Cheryl Liddy wants to know, what is the cost to be featured agent on their site? You already heard that. You get 5 zip codes for $100, Cheryl, so check it out. Lisa with Mill Lane Properties wants to know, what does generating approximately X number of impressions per month mean on a Fizbo website?
Oh, it's a good question. So, and we'll talk more with you when you come on board, but it's very unique what we're doing. So the impressions are based on, number one, actual leads that you get, so home valuations or calls to actually list. But then we actually have you have ad placement on our site. So it's how many times the users are actually logging into their dashboard or going to listing pages and seeing your face. So just quickly, so what I'd say is, similar to other online platforms, all of our listing pages, when you register for a zip code, you are the exclusive agent. And so when someone goes to a listing page, we have your ad there that has your face, your name, your brokerage information, and then a contact form. So people can contact you from the listing pages. And you get plenty of activity that way. Really, though, where you're going to see the most traction is when our users log in. So anytime that they edit their listing, change their photos, do anything, they log in, and what they're going to see is they're going to see their listing dashboard, and just below that, there's going to be an ad, a banner ad, that's very contextual to where they're at in their home selling process. So if they're early on, there's going to be a picture of your face, and there's going to say, need a home valuation? Contact me. So there's these different ads throughout the site that, once again, it's different than these other online platforms because they're not just eyeballs that are coming on, looking at, other agents' listings. These are actual people that are seeing, for sale by owner listings, and the actual Fizbo seller who's logging in and seeing your face, who's not represented, and seeing you every time they log in. But that's what those impressions are. They're the amount of times that ad is displayed in those areas based on, listing activity we have, online traffic that comes through the platform, and all those factors.
Good, good. Question from Fred with Real Estate Wyker Realtors. If I help Fizbo with paperwork and there's an issue, I don't think my broker's errors and omissions coverage will cover me. Ever run into this? That's a question for your broker, Fred. That's a legal question we can't really answer for you, but chat with your broker about it. There may be a possibility. I really don't know. Different offices, different states have different policies, so check with them. But it's a really good question.
Yeah, and I would just, sorry, Brina, I just add to that too. We like to just kind of stay out of that too because we feel like we want to get really good at connecting sellers with agents. So we don't tell them what the cost would be to do that services. We just say, hey, seller, if you need that service, talk to this agent. And like you said, as far as the agent can dictate how much they'd want to charge for that, and if there's any legal issue, definitely something for their broker to figure out with them.
And then in addition, let's say the broker will not take that opportunity up. Well, maybe the agent has a friend that's a transaction coordinator or somebody else in the industry. They're able to give a referral. You know what I mean? It comes back and forth. So it's not like an end-all kind of deal to closing out right there.
And there's always a solution. There's always another way.
There's always a solution.
Yeah. Mr. Mike Flowers says, great information. Let's lay off the agent from 1985. That's when I started. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I'm going to change the year. I'm just picking on Mike Ferry, really. That's the only reason I use that. Kai with Coldwell Banker has a question. What markets in the country is Fizbo working in?
Good question.
Wow.
And we're trying to get very, very smart in identifying why these markets are having good traction. But our top 10 markets we're seeing, well, I won't go through all 10, but I mean markets that we're seeing great success is Florida, New York, Texas, Nevada, California, Arizona. A lot of western states. Our number one market is Florida. So I don't know if you have any, Borino, in your market, I don't know or your network, I don't know how many Florida agents you have, but Florida, New York, DC area, those are some of the markets where we're seeing a lot of activity.
We have tons of agents in that area. Guys, on the page, I just posted in a comment the link. Some of you has a little hard time finding it. So it's Fizber, FIZBER.com/Borino. So it's in the comments. If you refresh the page, there should be a link there. I know Cheryl was looking for it. Morris says, I love it. Regina has a question, Borina. How do we go about making the first contact with the Fizbo? Is it better to call or send them a letter? Do we search the Fizbo websites to find clients? Regina, if you don't become Fizbo customer, which is cool, perfectly fine. Not everybody is a good match. Best way to approach them is send them a quick note, reach out to them, and set up a quick preview. Meet the seller in person, bring something of value, have a little chat with them. So my recommendation would be call them if you can, set up that meeting, or email them, then call them, then set up the meeting. Have a quick conversation and go visit them in person. That's what I would recommend. Vaughn from Realty One, great stuff, Borino. How do I become a member of the Fizbo as a realtor? Just go to fizbo.com/Borino, FIZBER.com/Borino. Check it out. We answered that. All right. Lori wants to know, is there any liability to conducting an open house for them? There may be. You know, I am not a legal expert, so by any means I can't give you any legal advice. It would be a good idea, Lori, to run it by a broker. Can you run into some potential legal problems? Run it by a legal department. Many companies have legal people on staff that can answer it much better for you than we could. But it's a great idea to check and look into it before you proceed. That's always use common sense and use the resources you have, which is your broker, your company owner, and a legal department. Great question, Lori. Anything you guys want to add to that?
No, I think you covered it.
Okay, good. Let's see if we have anything else. I'm just refreshing it. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Lots of good comment. Todd says, I am so in. This is a fantastic business model. I totally agree. Todd, you know me. You've been with me for quite some time. I've been doing this for many years. I don't do a lot of promotions for other people. And it's not because I'm an asshole or because I don't like those people, but it's because the services I offer must be something I truly believe in. And when Fizbo and I started talking, I'm like, shit, this is a really good angle. This can really help both sellers and agents come together and do something they both want to get done. That's why I agreed. And besides, not to mention, they can offer some really good insight and some good information. I'm sure today's broadcast is a proof that we kept my word in that email I sent you guys. So that's great. AJ says, here in Miami, could we replicate your platform in Spanish? Ooh, Espanol.
That's something to consider. Yeah.
So AJ would like to have it in Espanol. Ernesto is in Miami. And Myron, for a real estate broker over there, Ocean Breeze Realty, would like to know if you are in Florida. Absolutely. You heard that Fizbo is very strong in Florida. Ernesto wants to know, what could we expect from those zip codes as leads a month average? Really good question, Ernesto.
Very good question. Don, do you want to, you live in this arena, do you want to take that one?
On average, we see about 3 to 5 leads a month in your general area. Some are a lot more, but on average around 3 to 5. Obviously, we can't. If there's no inventory, you can't. What do you squeeze blood out of a turnip or whatever that saying is? But we'll work with you too. So, like, let's say you grab a zip code that's just not performing, and there's a nearby zip code around that might be doing something. You know, it might have some activity. We'll work with you on that. I mean, there's 45,000 zip codes plus in the United States. We think about 25,000 of them are inhabitable for not only our platform, but for sellers and for agents. So there's plenty of opportunities to, you know, we manage that. We just ask you that, you know, as you stay in touch and you're part of this program, don't call us 3 months later and say, hey, the zip code didn't do anything. You know, we invite you to stay in contact. We're here all the time, and we'll kind of investigate as we go, because as we continue to grow, we'll continue to see more and more traction, but in some markets it might be a little less than others, and so it might just be like a micro market, and maybe something nearby is open, we'll get you into there.
See, that's what I like about their approach, that Fizbo will be willing to work with you. If you run into trouble or you feel like it's not performing well, you need help. Of course, I will be ready to help you if you need it on the marketing side or communication side, technical side or whatever, a customer service side, they'll jump in and help you out. This is a win-win for everybody. This is not just let's take the agent's money and run. This is about making it good for the seller, for the agent, for the company. Of course, Fizbo is in the business to make money. Let's be honest. Everybody's here to make money. I need to put food on the table and feed my kids and buy them new bikes and all that stuff. So it's all good. But this will only work if you, as an agent, win as well. So that's how it's set up.
Absolutely. But as you said earlier, Bruno, I would definitely go into this as kind of a quality versus quantity play, because, you know, we're not like the other kind of data aggregators that are out there. The leads we have are actual people that went on our platform, created a listing themselves. It's not just, you know, information that we've scraped of saying here's someone's contact information that's trying to sell. This is an actual user of ours who, you know, the volume's not as great as those other providers, but the quality is much, much better because these people are engaged. They trust us, and so then when we are introducing you and you're reaching out to them as an extension of us, it's very powerful. And when you're backed by kind of the Fizbo Reno platform and just all the things that you've learned through Reno, you're equipped to really handle it and should have great success.
Gotcha. Okay. Linda is running into trouble. She says she has a hard time registering. Linda, I posted a new contact. You can always contact Fizbo customer service. They will help you out as well. Question from Timothy is, can we refer Fizbos to the site?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How would they go about it? Do they just fill out a form, or how does it work?
No, so that's one of the nice things about our program. Because it's exclusive, our agents don't need to think twice about actually talking to a for sale by owner and saying, hey, if you're going to do this, do it right. You should list on Fizbo.com, and give them the URL. Go to Fizbo.com, create a listing. What will happen then is when they create their listing, the face that they're going to see as soon as they register is they're going to see the agent's face. They're going to see, they're going to get to their dashboard and they're like, oh, that's the agent that told me to list on here. So it's nice because you don't need to be worried about sending somebody to a platform that then is going to get poached by other agents. Any business that you drive to your listing, you're the exclusive agent in that zip code.
Yeah.
So all the messaging that's agent related comes from they'll see you, and then we monitor all the inquiries that come through our site. So anyone that tries to come through our site, we don't display phone numbers on our site. I mean, the agents get the phone number if they're in that area, so they have that access. But the general public, they can't view the seller's phone number, so they have to contact them through our platform. And any type of solicitation that is, hey, list with me, or anything like that comes from an agent, we don't push those through because we know that the sellers don't want that. So we really do kind of block out other agents that are trying to contact these sellers. So anyway, you can refer it and drive business there without hesitation, and it's obviously
it'll come back to you. It'll come back.
And I love the idea, Tim, because what's great is, let's say there's a fresh new Fizbo in your area. Now you're going to lock it in. Now nobody else can have access to it. It's exclusively yours. That's brilliant. I really like that. All right, cool. Cindy, who is a team leader at NP Dodge Real Estate, would like to know if you service Omaha, Nebraska.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
we do.
So, yeah,
and to go on what PJ was saying, some of our bus markets and the top 10 markets, we also do really well in Middle America. I mean, I-70 and I-80 all the way across the country seems to be all the towns like the Omahas and the St. Louis's and and all those Indianapolis's, Cincinnati, Columbus. Those are great cities too for us too.
Hans has a question. He's a realtor agent at Realty One Group in Green Valley. He would like to know, is there any referral fee to be paid to Fizbo?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Great question,
Take
Hans.
that out of the equation. Take that out of the equation.
Awesome. All right. What we can expect from zip codes, we already answered. Ernesto's question. Todd is in. A bunch of people are signing in. According to we have over 50 comments here on Facebook. Let me just do a quick last refresh. Anything else you guys want to throw in? Anything you want to add before we say goodbye?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I mean, I'm just glad, one of the things that, we've been happy about is, number one, as I said, we weren't planning on building this platform as a lead generator, but it is. I mean, the data is just, you can't deny it. There's so many people that need these services. So when we decided that we were going to create this program, I'll be honest, we were a little worried of kind of how the real estate community would view it. Because we didn't want them to feel like we're trying to, get them, trying to ruin their lives or, make it so that they don't have jobs anymore. We really view this platform as a perfect fit with the real estate community. Fizbos have always existed. They always will exist. And what we're doing is we're providing a service that is making that engagement so much better for the home seller and helping them, but then also making it seamless so that these real estate agents don't have to do the cold calling, don't have to knock on doors, but they can come from a place of trust and get the business. And so we've just we've been really pleased at just how the real estate community has kind of embraced this, and we hope that it continues, and hope that this is a platform that will, create a lot of opportunities for agents, and once again, we'll help both parties, really be successful and happy.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of questions where people want to know about specific areas. What I encourage you guys to do, go to fizber.com. That's spelled F as in Frank, I, Z as in zebra, B as in boy, E, R.com/Borino. Fill out that short form. There's no credit card required or anything. They will research your zip code. You will chat with Fizbo and decide if it's for you. I know Joanne, who's a realtor at Optimus Real Estate Brokers, wants to know if you're in Georgia. I would assume so, right?
Yes. Yes.
You are in Georgia. Mr. Matt Makovsky, my good friend in One Stop Realty, wants to know if you're in Colorado. I can imagine you're in Colorado.
Everywhere.
Florida Keys,
Everywhere.
yes. All right. Maria has a question. I'm interested to be part of the platform, but doesn't allow me to open it. Would you let me know how? I will post a link as a reply to you, Maria. Just go to that URL and check it out. All right. Kim has a nice question from Palm Harbor, Florida. Wow, I've never been more excited about dealing with Fizbos than I am right now. Can't wait to get started. That's the attitude. That's a phenomenal attitude. That will get you very, very far. And we're here to help. We're here to support you. I will support you with the marketing, with the information, with the inspiration. These guys will support you on the technical side of it. You're in good hands. This has to work if you take the right steps. Now, I want you to hear me on this, guys. This is not a magic answer. This is not a magic bullet, silver bullet, magic pill. That this requires work. You still have to reach out, you still have to communicate with people, you still have to follow up with them. I just believe that the angle, your positioning, the information you already have available about these sellers will put you light years over your competition. That's my belief. That's why I think it's a really good tool that can really help you in your business. All right. What is this is from Kai Claudia Murphy, realtor with Coldwell Banker in Balboa Island. Ooh, Newport. Very nice. What is the price range of the homes you list? Do you get many homes above $1 million?
Oh, that's a very good question. So I would say the average list price on our platform is $390,000, and that honestly, full disclosure, that tends to be our sweet spot as by way of listing activity. It really is those folks that are kind of in the $300,000 to $500,000 range. That's where we're seeing a lot of activity. Now, having said that, we get plenty of people that have listed over $1 million homes on our platform. We actually had a listing, someone that engaged one of our agents in Coronado in San Diego. So I'm sure that agent knows that market very well. So it's similar, the type of home. I think the home was a little over $1 million. It was like $1.5 million, and ended up needing an agent, and we connected them with an agent. So those that happens. Those connections do happen, but 300 to 500,000. That really is our sweet spot.
So maybe Kai can contact you guys in chat to see if there are Fizbos in her zip codes in her area. That'd be worth exploring. Yeah. Good
Absolutely.
point. Chris wants to know, he's with Counselor Realtor. Are you in Minnesota? Is there a referral fee paid back to Fizbo? I'm sure you are in Minnesota, and there is no referral fee.
Yep.
So, all right. And Rick is in. He just signed up. AJ says, I already checked the platform. It's very clean. It's good to have exclusivity. I love the vision. Good. I mean, that's the whole idea. Notice how very transparent the guys have been, how open and honest this whole thing is. I'm surprised. I was expecting a lot more. Well, that's confidential. And we can talk about that. But you guys, I appreciate the great stuff. If you have any more questions, this is the last chance. Todd wants to know how many end up going with a premier agent versus one that has contacted them from the outside. That's a good question. So how many Fizbos end up listing with one of your agents versus somebody else? Do you guys know that data? Do you have that data? Is that available?
Yeah, we don't have. Go ahead, Don.
I would say we don't have enough data for that, but I will tell you this, because again, many of you that are inquiring about our services, you're going to be speaking with me in the next 24 to 48 hours, and we'll work with you getting it set up and all that. But I'm seeing more and more and more of our home sellers connecting and listing with our agents. And again, a lot of it has to do with the messaging we do, the exclusivity, all the things that we've built in the last 9 months, especially going forward, has just garnered more and more more and more listings. So we should have a number on that in the not too distant future. But like I said, the exclusivity, the initial connection 5 days later after they get on the site, the introduction, the personal exclusive introduction, we're converting more and more opportunities.
Awesome. Tim wants to know, can Fizbo provide me with a printable introduction to Fizbos? There is no printable introduction as far as I know, but if you just use the materials in the Fizbo Reno, or if you just come in, the idea is the marketing will not do the sales for you. The idea is you do the intro, you do the first contact. Do you guys provide any marketing materials? Any
Reno, yes, we do. We do.
Okay.
Well, in addition to that marketing email that the client gets 5 days after coming on our site, that includes the featured agent and the featured agents in the body of the email. We also have it on the dashboard, on the agent's dashboard. We have a best practices kind of area where the agent can go take a look at some of the suggestions that we've seen work, and then we also created an audio tutorial. It's about a 5-minute long, but it tells you, and I'm here for role play, by the way. If anybody wants to just role play a couple of calls before they make their first initial call to reach out to the Fizbo client, we'll do that. But we've created an audio little tutorial that works the same way. You can take your notes. It just, again, identifies either the email that you both received or the fact that you're on the dashboard. You want that aha moment where the customer says, oh, okay, you're the Fizbo guy. Okay, great.
So you're not just another agent bugging them about the listing. You're somebody
right,
on
right.
their
You have
side.
a reason to call. There's a reason why you're calling. You got an email or you're on the dashboard. You're just reaching out to your Fizbo contacts, making sure that they're okay. I'm the local Fizbo advisor. I'd like to say hello, see how you're doing.
Cool.
And
Victor wants to know, how soon will Fizbo call me? I want to sign up. I'm sorry, PJ. I apologize for jumping in.
So I was just going to say real quick, the only other thing I'd add to what Don was mentioning is we definitely provide kind of these best practices that he mentioned of what we're seeing. However, just full disclosure, we're not agents. Don, Don isn't an agent. So one of the things we really liked about working with you, Reno, is you guys have been in the trenches and kind of know real-world application. We kind of see what from a seller's perspective of best practices of how to approach it. And we definitely have these marketing that we deploy. But one of the benefits with working with you is man, these agents have the tools, have scripts, because it is an entirely different skill set, that we don't necessarily come from that place. So we'll help. I just don't want to set any false expectation of Fizbo's got all the tools to help you. I mean, we do provide some good, tips and things like that, but I definitely
it's still
feel like
onto the agent. It's still onto the agent. But again, PJ too. I have the same mindset of Reno. That's when we first when we all first got introduced. I mean, I talk to agents much the way you talk to agents, and sometimes even use colorful language. But it works because the agents, they understand. I'm not just going to sit there and just tell them what they want to hear. I'm going to tell them what they need to hear. And again, it still comes down to salesmanship. Not so much. If you're a confident person, like we talked about earlier, you know how to present yourself. You know how to handle objections, and regardless of whether it's real estate or selling cars or selling, whatever, it's still the same thing. And it's about making relation. And if you don't make a relationship with that home seller, I don't care how great a realtor you are, you're not going to get that thing. It's still, you're asking somebody, you're going to take care of somebody's house, whether it's $300,000 or $1 million. That's a big investment. So there's got to be an investment in trust and likability too. You guys got to like each other as well.
Awesome, cool. Victor from Barclays Real Estate Group wants to know, how soon will Fizbo call me? I want to sign up.
As soon as I get off the webinar. As soon as I get off the webinar, I'll be calling.
Victor, you're getting a call right away. Linda wants to know, what is the time frame from sign-up to becoming featured agent?
Almost immediately, and you should expect leads within 7 to 10 days.
Oh.
So what happens is after you sign up, it takes typically about 20 to 30 minutes to get everything set up, and then I'll send you an overview, a link to your dashboard, a link to your tools and best practices. We also want you to get to know what Fizbo's about. I can't tell you how many agents call me and say, hey, look, I want to get a zip code. And I'll ask a couple questions, and right away I know that they're not going to even be good for us. And I'll just say, have you looked at the site? And they say no. And I'll say, and I'll just say, look, I don't know if this is going to be a good fit for you. I want you to embrace the site, because if you're going to be that local Fizbo advisor, you got to know at least what the site offers. You don't have to sell it. You can always send them back to me if they want to buy a Fizbo product. But again, if you're going to be the Fizbo advisor and you're at my house and I ask you, hey, what about that digital marketing? You say, Don, I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, whatever credibility you had as that FSBO advisor, that trusted FSBO advisor, that just flew right out the window. So you've got to know a couple of things. And so we share those things back to what PJ was saying. Again, things that will help you succeed. And pretty simple.
And position you as an authority and expert. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Jenny from Real Estate from Keller Williams says, thank you, Borino. This seems like a great opportunity. I totally agree. Bob Christie, my good man Bob Christie, very old client of mine, not physically old, but he goes way back. Let me know when you're coming to Australia. He wants you to come down under. Mark Corner with Coldwell Banker, do you have any kind of waiting list as my zip codes are already taken?
Yeah, we are holding on to people as backups. You know, so we'd hate to see, you know, an agent leave us, you know, but yeah, I mean, if zip codes get available, we are making note of people that are reaching out when they do have a zip code taken. Hopefully we can find a surrounding area that would work for the time being. You know, as Don mentioned, we offer complimentary zip swap. So we could get you on a surrounding area, and then once one became available, we could swap out one of your zip codes that perhaps you don't want or isn't getting as many leads as you'd like with the preferred zip code. So yeah,
awesome.
Definitely we can make note of that when we had the conversation.
And definitely send an email so I get that information, regardless of whether you're able to get a zip code or not, and we'll keep you on the loop.
Awesome. Joanne from Optimus Real Estate, I just signed up at FSBO.com. When should I expect a phone call to discuss the zip codes? You said within 24 to 48 hours, right, Don?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys. I think this was time well spent. Hour and a half. Man, that flew by. But I didn't realize it was that late. Jesus, I could be talking FSBOs all day long. I love this topic because I believe that it's just a great opportunity where everybody at the end wins. That's why I keep hammering it for you guys. If you want to take up on that offer I made, it's still valid. If you sign up with FSBO, if you feel like this is a good opportunity and a good match, and you want to get the FSBO Reno, I will get the information forwarded to me from FSBO. If you're interested, or shoot me an email. It's borino@expartplus.com. And we'll set you up, we'll hook you up. But that's good only today. If you're watching this on a replay, too bad. The opportunity is gone. But I wanted to help and jump in. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Special thanks to the boys from FSBO, PJ and Don. I appreciate all the information you shared, and thank you so much for offering such a cool product and cool service to the sellers and, of course, to my students and my clients. You guys,
Absolutely.
This has been good. Thank you.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Don.
We got
Thank
some
you,
more good stuff coming, more good training coming your way. So watch the Real Estate Rockstar group, watch your inbox, or watch the Listing University homepage where we post these things. Thanks again for being here today. Your coach Borino saluting his brave real estate troops. Have a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you real soon. Let's go get him. Bye, everybody.
Awesome.